my government will be able to cut the costs of electric power by 30%. You can read this good news on your monthly power bill in the coming days.
President Uhuru Kenyatta giving assurance to over 40 million Kenyans that the price of electricity will soon reduce. This was during the launch of the 140 megawatt Olkaria 4 geothermal power plant in Naivasha. And indeed, many Kenyans will be waiting for their power bills at the end of the month to ascertain whether the dream of affordable power is a reality. But while those already with electricity connections rejoice about lower power bills, there are about 67% of Kenyans who are yet to be connected to the national grid. And with the cost of maintaining a generator becoming even higher due to high cost of fuel, many Kenyans are turning to alternative solutions such as solar power, especially for lighting. Gennex Solar has taken up the challenge to help light up Kenyan homes even as they wait to be connected to the national grid in different parts of the country. Gennex partnered with the Greening Kenya initiative, where they have run several projects in Nakuru, Masai Mara, Machakos and Mombasa. The pilot project in Machakos provides homes with solar panels that can be used for lighting as well as charging some electronic devices. Gennex Solar CEO Nathaniel Peat says, and I quote, "We want to bring about real social impact. It is now time to empower women and young people to succeed. Gennex will not just meet the power needs of people, but will also train and develop technicians, provide jobs and opportunity." End of quote. Gennex is considering setting up a manufacturing facility in Kenya which will deal with the assembly and installation of solar products. Ruth Mutegi, Business Defined.
Right, and joining me on the set is the Chief Executive Officer of Gennex firm, Nathaniel Peat, and he will sort of be giving us an insight as to whether solar energy is the next big frontier. If you're looking for economical and ecological energy solutions, is solar energy the way to go? And well, how sustainable is it? Well, thank you, Peat, for joining us in our studios today.
It's good to be here, Doreen. Great.
All right. Now, the electricity supply and demand in Kenya, as you have seen, of course, is wanting.
Yes.
What did you say is the market share of the solar energy in the market so far?
Well, I mean, there's still great potential for solar in Kenya. I mean, there's a number of people that don't have electricity, and there's companies which are popping up, but the penetration of solar hasn't been that much when you're looking at the population, you know, especially in rural districts, in rural areas, there's a number of people that are not connected to the grid, and part of the problem with that is actually the penetration and trying. What we are doing as a company is to demystify the myth that solar is very expensive. A lot of people believe that it's unreliable. A lot of that's to do with bad product and poor product, which is why, as Gennex, we call ourselves elite in that we try to produce solar which is above the rest, which is able to function better. Right. And take that to these type of regions.
All right, you're just getting into the Kenyan market. I'm sure you've done a bit of research. And what kind of people are you targeting? Is it the poor people, the low income, the middle income? And while at it, touch on the affordability of your products in the market.
Well, I mean, yes, we're touching on people that are extremely poor, people that don't have power. The way in which we're structuring it is to work with a lot of SACCOs to give microloans and investments. In addition to that, working with the middle market, whereby we have people that can purchase product and sell that, and then distribute that, localize that in those regions. The other way in which we're going about the strategy is by training young people to assemble and to install. And so then they have the product, which is given. They then make money from that through installments and subscriptions, basically, for the service which we're providing. All right.
How affordable are your products?
I mean, they're affordable. Pricing. The pricing is structured in a way that, in the same way that someone would have a mobile top-up for their phone, we have prepaid systems that can actually do similar functions. So it's structured in a way whereby people at grassroots can afford it through a subscription base. It's bought by people who can afford to buy it, and that money goes back into the system. So you have essentially SACCOs which can purchase the product, which then go out and then they have loans which the people pay back on a subscription basis.
All right, does that mean you don't have a one-off purchase sort of products that I buy, probably a lantern or a lamp, and well, it's a one-off off-shelf product? Is it?
No, we're talking about a continual type of, we're talking about a continual development and continual upgrade. For instance, if you have a mobile phone, when a mobile phone comes to market, you can actually get upgrades. There's a communication with the actual suppliers so that there is constant, the constant ability to adapt and to change and to meet the needs of the customer is there. The company is an innovation company. Mm-hmm. So what we had yesterday is different from what we're going to have tomorrow. And so by getting feedback from the community, we need to have that social as well as the commercial married together so that we can actually develop as a company and help people.
All right. Now, you're aware that the government in January this year did embark on the construction of about 9 solar power plants that essentially will provide solar power to about 50% of the country. What impact do you think that will have in your business?
Well, I mean, it's not going to have a great impact. Mm-hmm. There's still people that are not going to be able to tap into that. There's still regions that don't have power. You see, I think the strategy is great. You need to provide power, but then we're thinking beyond that. We're thinking about jobs. We're thinking about how can we empower people? How can we develop individuals? How do we maintain these solar products? How can we build entrepreneurialism? How can we build engineering skills? And so it will have a slight impact. However, there's still a number of people that don't have the product, and we're there to try to create a solution for that. Not just solar, but renewable energy collectively with hybrid-based systems.
All right. Now, solar energy is known as renewable, and of course, we know the numerous advantages that comes with it. But then again, let's take a look at the disadvantages that might come with it. Let's take a scenario where there's a storm or at night where it's cloudy. How, as a user, how do I get affected? How do I get power?
Well, this again comes down to the technology behind it as well. A number of products that come into Kenya, into Africa, let's look at Africa as a whole. We're talking about an area that's 20 degrees north and 20 degrees south of the equator. Mm-hmm. At certain temperatures above 25 degrees Celsius, these panels actually crack. The technology which we're using is a little bit more advanced in that it can absorb more power. For instance, in overcast conditions. We've been testing, in fact, with the GKI, which is the Green in Kenya initiative, and we've been running a program for 12 months where we've tested them and measured the performance against other similar types of solar, and ours have come up top, which is great. Again, it goes down to manufacturing, it goes down to the British standards, it goes down to engineering quality, and that's where we're advantageous in an advantageous position, especially when you're talking about overcast conditions.
Peat, we have, of course, massive competition in the market of different modules manufacturer. What sets your products apart?
Well, I think it's. I think a lot of it is our USPs. Is that we're not just selling. We're about people development, and that is a critical thing for us. It's also the innovation behind it, in that we're constantly developing. It's not just about producing a product and then pushing that out there. Mm-hmm. We need to be connected to the ground to find out what exactly the needs are. And as you mushroom as a company, as you grow as a company, you're able to see the real needs of individuals. And I always say it's not about the competition. The more competition in the game, the better. You know, if your road is not dotted with obstacles, it means your road's not going anywhere. So the more obstacles that there are on the road, the better the journey. It knocks you back in shape and you're able to do more. All
right. As we come to the close of the show, kindly tell us briefly about your products, warranties, and after-sale maintenance.
Well, we've got basic chargers, which are warranted for up to 18 months. We have our lighting systems, which are warranted up to 2 years. We have engineers which install that, and those technicians are connected underground. The first place that we're actually going for is Machakos, where we've trained a number of people in the maintenance of these, and that connection to the company is always maintained, so customers can always have that connection to us, so that we are able to then look at maintenance issues and feedback.
All right. Are you doing your project in pilot phases, by the way? And if so, where are you right now?
Well, we're in Machakos. We went to Mombasa. We've also gone to Nakuru as well with the Greening Champions. That was part of the Greening Kenya initiative pilot, which we've been running for 12 months.
are you working with the Kenya workforce? And so far, how many people have you employed in the companies or the firms that you've
we've got
established
30
so far?
people on the ground at the moment, and we're growing steadily. So it's really still at its startup phase, but we're hoping to create a measured impact. Kenya is the place for East Africa that we're going for. We're also in the Caribbean. In Jamaica, we're going to help Haiti as well. So this is a socially driven commercial business. We're interested in investing in people.
Peat, thank you very much for your time, and we wish you well with whatever it is that you're doing on the ground. And of course, we hope that you find Kenya as a favorable market for your business. Well, we are taking a short break. When we return, we have more news on what's making headlines in the business sector. Don't go too far.